Welcome to Father Fish and the Natural Aquarium. Glory. We got a crooked picture. And my camera wants to be crooked. I have a crooked camera. What's it about the crooked old man living in a crooked old house? Look at that silly thing. It just wants to be crooked. Goodness sakes. There, crooked the other way. Make it straight. Now make it closer and up. I should I had all this done before, and then I turned it on. What in the world? Honestly, I think I need to get a new system here. This is just making me nuts. It doesn't stay in place. Oh, what's going on here? Why are you not staying in place? Yeah. Making it tighter doesn't make it tighter. We're going to spend the next 20 minutes figuring out how to set this silly camera. Gee, willikers. Gonna have to do like that. Mercy. All right, let's see who's here and who's talking about Max Darkheart. Darkheart. Did Max Darkheart finally got a notification? Well, that's great. Glad to hear it. Yeah, so did a bunch of people. 26 people came in a matter of seconds. It was kind of amazing. And one is left. Oh well. Can I keep the dwarf Mexican orange crayfish with neocaridina shrimp and snails? That's a really good question. The crayfish will eat the shrimp when they slough, when they shed, because they'll be soft if you can find them, which he is evenly likely to do. I would suggest that you try it with a few shrimp. Probably, probably it'll work. Probably it will because he's not going to chase them down. But he will snag them if he can. And he'll sit there all day with his pincers open, waiting for one to walk between the pincers, and then he'll have it for lunch or dinner. So I don't think it's a long term strategy, but you could try a few. Just set it up so that you're not going to lose much in the process and see how it goes. I It's a crapshoot. It really is. And it depends entirely on how much the crayfish has to eat. I mean, they eat plants. So if you load it with plants, he's going to be grazing all the time. And he won't be starving. Starvation, of course, is the great motivator for predation. So by not letting him starve, you stand a better chance of rescuing your shrimp. But it's all a trial and error. Um, let's see, there was a video that we played not long ago, and I meant to get back to it because I want to talk about it, and it's going to be too complicated for me to try to pull it up at this point and look at it, I think. But it's all about, it's written by an agrarian, by an agricultural scientist who is committed to what we're committed to natural, biological, if you will, farming, um, biotope farming, or farming with biological rather than chemical material. Colin Valide, Gape. Hey, Father Fish, how you doing? Got my shrimp aquarium, but mushroomy shrimp die. I got the water sitting, and I can use start water, or I got to throw it out. Well, don't know why they died. Mushroomy shrimp. I don't know what that means. Mushroomy shrimp die. Fish family, hello, hello. Greetings from Brazil. All right, we're going to get back to this. I'm not going to lose track of my thought here because it's right up front. What plants are good for keeping with cichlids? Silly boy. Whatever it is, it's got to be a lot of them so that they outgrow predation. I like Vallisneria and swords, big swords, Amazon swords, Brazilian swords, swords that get big. And Val, they survive pretty well for me. I've got a cichlid tank full of Vallisneria. They chew on it, but they don't keep up with it. Recommendations other than shrimp or snails for a 2.5 gallon tank. A scarlet batis, um, Everglade, if you can get them, Elosoma. It's a pygmy sunfish, if you can get them. You can also do you can do culture tanks, Daphnia culture, rotifer all of that sort of stuff. Um, Various shrimp cultures. Bettas, of course. Did I say bettas? I did say bettas. I'm sure I said bettas. Bettas, of course. And other small fish that you are just kind of fascinated with. I mean, you could put upwards of a dozen um, uh, little tiny tetras. There are a lot of little fish you could do in a 2.5 gallon tank. The heavier you plant it, the more fish you can put in it. So if it's really heavily planted with a little bubbler in one corner, you'd be amazed how many fish will thrive in there. Guppies, certainly guppies. I mean, guppies love it in little tiny tanks like that. They do really well, and there's nothing prettier than a small tank filled with plants that has dozens and dozens of guppies swimming through the forest. Use your imagination. You can do a lot of very creative things with a little tiny tank. Ember tetras, yeah, absolutely. Embers are about half the size of a neon. You could do neons. The green neons would be nice. They're a bit smaller and they do better in larger numbers. What else? Must be talking about those 2.5 gallons at PetSmart for $11. Yeah, somebody brought one in yesterday. We got it sitting in a box. I emptied it and stored it away, but I should go back to it and do something with it. That'd be a good demo tank. See what you can do with a little tiny tank. Endlers, certainly endlers. Absolutely. Yeah, endlers, not Max doesn't want to do neons. What else we got here? Got 30 plants. Bravo. African dwarf frog. That's a nice idea. You could do a couple of them, a couple of African dwarf frogs. That'd be really perfect in a little tiny tank like that. And then faded blackworms. What a kick that would be. It probably will spawn in there and you'll wind up with a tank full of tadpoles. That would be fun too. Hmm. Oh, Max says he has frogs with his bettas. The little frogs, yeah. Well, that's right. Bettas don't really bother anything, only each other, nobody else. Can I put two schools of 15 each in the room and afford it? Of course. You could put you could put 10 schools of 15 each of neon and rummy and Lord knows what else in a 40-gallon tank. A 40-gallon tank will easily hold 100 small fish and with room to grow. The more plants you have, the easier it is for that tank to be able to maintain a large number of fish in a healthy condition. So consider that. More plants doesn't mean fewer fish. It means just the opposite. More plants means more fish. Fewer plants, fewer fish really means, I shouldn't say this. Fewer plants, you can have fewer fish, I suppose. You can have fewer plants. But what's the point of that? You want to fill the tank with plants. Then you can do so much more and everything you want. All right. Crip and Corey, CPDs and Corey Hasbro's give me trouble. You mean they fight? Oh, I got a gold based flower horn and a Jack Dempsey. Whoop de doo. You're going to have World War III. What'll it get big? Christian is here. Boy, do I need to talk to you. We need to get it together, Christian. I you need you need to be paid for your fish, and I need your fish. We need to get this worked out so I can start getting some of your. You're doing so many really cool things that I really could use in my aquariums. Um, I think what I need to do is set you up again as a destination, as a warehouse rather. That way you can ship out, and we can do the shipping labels more easily. I will work on that. Let's see. Who's this? Moldy Pickle setting up a new tank. I want to transfer my dripwood, but it currently has black beard on it. How to make sure it won't get into my new tank? Oh, just put it in. There's nothing wrong with black beard. It's a very controlled algae. And if you've got a lot of other plants in there, it'll die off. You'll be disappointed. It's just about the time you decide you like it, it'll be gone. It's there and it's gone. It's a ghost algae. It shows up and then it's gone. It never seems to last more than a matter of months. I think I did see a tank once where it lasted nearly a year, but it disappears. I think it absorbs all of the available nitrates and then just kind of fades away. I've seen it die in a day, one night, overnight, gone. Don't worry about Blackbeard. It ain't going to hurt a thing. It's a nice plant. Think of it as a nice plant. White protruding cyst on a fantail goldfish. Oh, here we go. Is the water quality related? And do you recommend anything other than frequent water changes? We've got a white protruding cyst. That's not a function of the need for a water change. And water change will do nothing to to deal with the cyst. What you need to do with this cyst is you need to take the fish out, you need to lance it, that is, cut it, remove whatever is in there, if it's a worm or just a hard encapsulated goldfish flesh. Remove that and then put a dab of neomycin on it or some other um, antibiotic ointment and put it back in the tank, and it'll be absolutely fine, and the cyst will be gone. You're not going to treat a cyst with water changes. It ain't never going to happen. That's not the problem. The water is not what caused it. Bad water is not what caused it. It's either some kind of a skin a lesion, like a skin cancer, or it's a parasite. And you deal with it by taking it out and removing it. You're not going to hurt the fish. He'll be thankful. Or she. Max check. Pebbling Creek Aquatics. They breed both fish. They do indeed. Let's see. They do indeed. I haven't done a water change in months. You go, Matt. Two pairs of angels is Jennifer, and a 60-gallon breeder had eggs on opposite sides. I read your email about that. Did they hatch? And did they care for the fry? Well, first of all, did they hatch? And if they did hatch, was there any parental care involved? Pretty cool. I've had that happen with rams. I had a trio of rams in a tank, and the two females spawned at each end of what is this doing? At each end of the tank. I think, but the problem is I've got this AI camera. What is it doing? It's yaller. What does it mean when it's yellow? I don't know. I can't figure out how to deal with this silly thing. I mean, you know what? I could just take it off of here. That won't help though. It's on the arm, and the arm swings. Oh, and there it goes. It likes it down there. It doesn't like it up here. It goes blue down there. Honestly, Pete. Mercy. Now what's it doing? Now it's going up in the sky. Oh, now what? Well, that's different. Oh, well. Let me get back to my topic here. What I wanted to talk about, Dakota had green neons breeding almost daily before sunset, feeding them live Indian meal moths. Wow. Thank God, added botanicals natural. That's cool. Very cool. I got a batch of green neons and I got 50 of them. And within 12 hours, every one of them died. First time I've had that happen. Obviously, they came in with problems. So I got credit for them. We'll try it again. I've never had that kind of trouble with them before, but I did with those. All right, let me get back to this. I'm gonna focus. Sorry about the chat. I'm gonna focus on this because I'll run out of time if I don't. Okay, here's the issue. One of the problems that has been discovered in recent years about modern agriculture, agriculture since the 1950s, say, or 60s, when fertilizers became all the rage. And the quality of the food very gradually but very distinctly diminished. Gradually enough that it wasn't really noticed until about 10 years ago, when a group of farmers and botanists began looking at what was happening to these big commercial farm operations and discovered that the soil had become so completely depleted of any organics that you believe it, that it could no longer sustain life. Plants wouldn't grow in it. So they began looking at it, trying to figure out what was really going on, and discovered that the problem was that the soil had become depleted of organic material. Now, initially, the organic material that they were looking at was plant material. And so they began plowing under. They would grow a crop and plow the crop under, like a grass crop, and just plow it under in order to be able to retain some biological material in the soil. And that worked for a time, somewhat effectively, but ultimately it didn't really solve the problem. I'm going to throw this thing up against the wall pretty quick here. I'm getting down to it with getting done with you now. It could be long. You're going to be gone. Fancy camera and fancy arm. So they began looking a little deeper and discovered that while they were doing this, they were continuing to apply fertilizers. Honestly, stay where I put you. Stay. Don't you dare move. Began looking at the plant itself and what the plant was doing, how it was functioning, and what it needed. And they began to understand that the plant was not growing normally. It was with fertilizer. It wasn't for one thing, it wasn't putting down roots. And so it had no ability to really sustain itself. It would grow leaves, and with the right kind of fertilizer, it would fruit. And so they could get a harvest with it, but the plant was not healthy. It obviously was not deriving the nutrients that it needed from the soil, mainly because it didn't have a root system. And then they discovered something else, that plants need more than 3 or 4 nutrients. They discovered that what plants need is all of the nutrients that are in the soil. In other words, the plant consumes. How can I deal with this? I need to take it apart. I'm getting totally frustrated here. This stupid thing. It ain't gonna be here long, folks. It ain't gonna be here long. I'm about done with you. Hey, you can't move now. I got you laying flat. All right. Oh, I am gonna have to take a break. I'm sorry. Um, Let me do this. Let me put. I'm having a health related issue here. And if I don't deal with it, I'm going to be in trouble. Let's see. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to get over here. I'm going to go back to home base. And I'm going to play a cat. Honest to God. All right, I can do it this way.
His words like music to our ears, soothing every ache and pain. Bring nature back to your tank. Let his message reign. Embrace the beauty of the wild. Let your fish thrive. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view. Through the rocks and plants, the fish find peace and play. Father Fish its teachings, lighting up their day. No more crowded takes or fake decor, just nature's tender touch. Embracing the balance, loving it so much. Father Fish's legacy, a vision we embrace. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view.
Good Lord Almighty. Oh. All right, let's see if I can pick this thing up now. Whew. So they've discovered that the plant needed more than just a few nutrients. In point of fact, it needed all the nutrients. It needed every mineral in the periodic table. There are what, 100? So the question then became, well, how in the world do we do that? And they began to understand that there was a missing link in understanding the relationship between the plant and the earth. And the missing link was the microfauna and the microflora, the fungus, the micro organic material, and the bacteria. The archaea, the bacteria, the fungi all function together to create the specific nutrient that the plant needs. In other words, they began to see that the plant sends off signals. They're chemical signals that it releases around the root system that trigger certain kinds of bacteria. Now, the question then is, how does it know which bacteria? Well, think about how many different species of bacteria there are, which I'm sure only 1 out of 1,000,000 of you will know. But there are in a hectare of land, which is what, 140 acres of land, there are 1,000,000 species of bacteria. In any substantial territory, there are 1,000,000 species of bacteria. So it's not limited, not by any stretch. And bacteria tend to mingle with each other. They tend to kind of mix it up, although some will dominate depending on what's available and what's required at a given point. Well, here's the trick. The plant, at various stages in its development, and this is highly refined. We've been able to, science, the people researching this have been able to delineate 6 or 8 different stages in the plant's life where it has specific needs. But that opens the door to realizing, or has opened the door to realizing that there are many, many, many more stages in that plant's development, probably hundreds, where it's calling for a specific nutrient. Now, how does it do this? It releases essentially a hormone. And I wanted to go back and watch the video and get the name of that hormone because I've forgotten it. But I'll get it and I'll use it and it'll be out there. They release this hormone that triggers a very specific species of bacteria. And the range of hormones is we don't know how wide the range is. We know there are at least 7. There are probably hundreds. And as it releases, it triggers a given bacteria. That bacteria then multiplies by feeding on very specific nutrients and creating a very specific product that the plant needs in order to achieve that day's growth. In other words, one day the plant wakes up and says, boy, I really would like to have a chocolate mousse. And so it sends out this request, this order for a chocolate mousse. And wouldn't you know, the chocolate mousse maker gets the order and prepares the product and provides it to the plant. And this goes on day in and day out. Well, at any given point in time, the scientist can look at the root sample and determine what it's asking for. So a farmer can clip that root, send it in, say, what do I need? And they'll say, oh, well, you need whatever you need. You need a specific form of aragonite, of some kind of iron or copper or something. And that takes 4 or 5 days for the scientists to test the root and work the chemical process and figure out what's needed. It gets the information back within the week, mind you. And the farmer says, whoa, all right. So he goes out and he fertilizes the whole plantation with iron or whatever. Well, by then the plant's moved on. It's 3-4 days later. He's got another need. He's beyond that. So it's wasted effort. Wasted chemicals, wasted effort. And effectively pollutes the soil because it creates an imbalance then. So there's all of these problems involved in trying to decide for the plant what it needs, or trying to figure out what the plant needs. So you can give them that. So there's no way to know, folks. There's no way to know. It is, to our feeble brain, a mystery, but it's one the plant is totally clear about. And the bacteria as well are totally clear about. So our job is not to try to finesse every single thing that goes on, but to provide the environment that's needed in order for all of these processes to go on. And that's about the clearest way I can say it. We need to have soil that is enriched with organic material, with microfauna, with microflora, with all of the bacteria in the world, not the six you get in the little bottle. The six you get in the little bottle, you dump that in there and it kills all the others because it overwhelms them. So you wind up 1,000 times worse off than you were if you had done nothing. Better to do nothing than to do something that destroys what you've already got. That's the problem with fertilizers. That's the problem with additives. You're flying blind, absolutely deaf, dumb, and blind. You don't know what the plant needs. You have no way of knowing what it needs, so you throw something at it, and it's going to be wrong 100% of the time. It will never be right. Now, let me say this. You can do this and you can get away with it because you'll get exactly what you're looking for. If you're putting a material in there that grows leaves, you're going to get leaves. But you're not going to get roots, which means that so long as those chemicals are there, leaves are going to grow. You quit doing that, the whole thing dies. So if you want to play this game of pumping stuff into the tank day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, forever, you can do that and you get away with it so long as you get away with it. But at some point, you ain't going to get away with it. You're going to fail and it's going to crash. And you're going to wonder why, because you did all this work and put on all this effort and it came to nothing. Right. Because you're trying to play God. You're trying to be something you're not. You're trying to understand the intricacies. How do you say that word? The intricacies. I don't know how else to say it. Of the biological world without even an inkling of an understanding of what's even there to know about. Think about it. How many elements are in the soil that you're putting in your tank? Do you have any idea at all? Do you even have a way of having any idea? No, you don't. You don't know. Now, our supplement is comprised of about 20 different compounds and elements that we think pretty well matches up with the periodic table. We think we got it all. We don't, but we got a lot of it. And we got it in sufficient dosages that ain't going to run out. And in point of fact, by leaving it in there and letting the whole thing go, it will create a web, a cycle, a flow of one dead thing to another living thing, to a dead thing, to a living thing, to it, and so forth and so on, until what you put in there is taken up and goes through a whole process that returns it to exactly what you put in there to begin with. And that's the cycle. That's the web of life. That's what happens. That's how it works. That's why it works. Now, I ain't no scientist, and I don't profess to be. I don't want to be. I've never tried to be. I'm a hobbyist, and a rather simple one. I've not done a lot of complicated things. I've done this one thing that I've really focused in on and worked at for about 25 years now. And I figured a couple of things out. One of the main things I figured out is to leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let it do what it's going to do. Trust the laws of nature to function appropriately. Trust that nature survives. It is the ultimate survivor. It survives and thrives in spite of our best efforts to destroy it. What's the one single thing you can do absolutely routinely that completely breaks down and destroys the natural environment? And everybody does it. Water changes. Water changes. Water changes do more to destroy the natural environment than anything else we do. Said that the wrong way, probably. There are things we can do that are worse, but it is as bad as it gets because every time you do a water change, you are artificially, radically, dramatically changing the chemistry of that system, much less the biology of it. You're changing the pH, you're changing the hardness, you're changing the materials that are in the water, you're removing things that have been developed that are refined and desirable and needed that the environment has spent a long period of time trying to create and develop in order to make the tank healthier, and you're ripping it out, diluting it, cutting it back. Every time you do a water change, you take a sledgehammer to the tank. That's a water sledgehammer. You're hitting the water with a sledgehammer. You're not breaking the tank, but you sure are messing it up. Now, I do water changes, but I do them when I need to do them, when things are obviously out of balance. And I will grant you that if you're keeping 50 big fish in a big tank with nothing on the bottom and you're feeding them like there's no tomorrow, in a week's time, you've got a polluted mess you better fix. And the only way you're going to fix it is by doing a water change. So, yeah, there are times you got to do a water change because you've messed up so bad that nothing can survive. And the water change is a stopgap measure in your attempt to kill everything. I do have a different take on a lot of this stuff. What's interesting to me is how many people get utterly irate about it. And I guess I understand that. I guess I really do. Because I'm flying in the face of common knowledge and popular wisdom that says, ooh, you got to do this and you got to do that. You got to do that. And if you do this, that, and that, everything can be fine for a while until you have to do it again for a while and then do it again for a while and then keep doing it because you can't stop doing it. Once you start doing it, you can't stop. You got to do it. 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 You never stop doing it. Why in the world have we allowed ourselves to be put through that utter insanity of trying to fix and fix and fix and fix and fix and fix when it's not really, in fact, fixing anything? It's just pulling it back from the brink, from the cliff, from disaster. And then doing the same old thing. It pushes it right back out to the brink. They're pulling it back, pushing it right back out to the, pulling it back, right back out, pull it back. That's why people get tired of the hobby. Because it takes an emotional toll. It's not fun. It gets to be work. It gets to be drudgery. It gets to be filled with anxiety, with stress, with dread, and with sadness when everything finally says, I quit. I can't handle this anymore, including the fish keep. You don't need to do any of that. None. None of it. Your job is to be a farmer. And the farmer's job is to make sure that the plants and animals he's raising are given a place to grow that is as healthy as he can make it. Not as clean, not as sterile, not as devoid of fungi and bacteria and whatever other boogeymen are out there. Not creating a hospital environment where everything will be safe. No, no, no. None of that. None of it. The earth is not sterile. That's where you need to be. That's where your fish need to be, your plants need to be. That's where the farmer needs to be, in the earth, enriching the earth and giving the earth what it needs to be able to thrive. You know about terra preta. Terra preta. It's an ancient soil that was discovered not too long ago by some scientists in South America that the Incas or the whoever it was invented 1,000 years ago and more, that still enriches soil today. How does it do this? It does this with bacteria. Bacteria doesn't die. It doesn't die. It doesn't die because it's not alive. It's somewhere else in another kingdom that's somewhere between the animate and the inanimate, the rock and the dirt. It's somewhere in between rocks and plants. And it's that in between place that makes the transition. And it's able to convert. It's able to convert dry, worthless dust, dirty, sandy soil with no value in it. It's able to convert it to a nutrition-based soil. That's what our aqua preta is. Uses all the same elements to the extent that we know about them. But we also know it works. It does exactly that. It enriches the soil. So you need soil and you need the enrichment of the soil. Now, the enrichment is not, let me say it one more time, the enrichment is not fertilizers. Fertilizers they're not even a shotgun approach. It's more like a sniper bullet. It shoots one thing or maybe 3 or 4 things into the soil and says, there, you got what you need. Well, it doesn't have it. And you just overwhelmed what it was already there with something that didn't need, and now you've made a mess of it. And it's got to somehow try to recoup that and reorganize itself around this disaster you just plunked down in the middle of the pie. Don't try to play God. Don't try to be God. Try to take advantage of what God is on. Because it's all there. All we have to do is put it in place wherever we want to see it happen. Like in our little fish tank. put it in place and let it, and then sit back, put your hands in your pocket or sit on your hands or tie them to the chair and watch. And when you get nervous about this or that, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and let it go. If you start seeing fish dying, then you got something you need to deal with. Or the plants are all dying, right? Something you need to deal with. But that happens 1% of the time. The other 99% of the time, it's not happening. And you can have a tank go like this for years. I got one over here, 27 years. That only happened one time. And that's when somebody dumped an entire can of food in the tank. And I didn't see it for 2 days. And it went whew, bad. So I took all the gunk out, all the dead fish, the dead plants, dropped the water level down about a third, refilled, and let it sit there. 2 days later, it was crystal clear, like it never happened. Put new plants in, new fish in. That was 7, 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. I don't remember. I think I got a video about it. Things do happen, and when they do, you need to do you need to do what needs to be done rather than throw the whole thing out and start over again. That's never, really never necessary. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get back. What time is it? Yeah, we got about 10 minutes. Let's get back in here and see who's saying what and what we can do about it. Oh, hello, Father Fish, best fish farm on the interweb. Thank you. Oh, Adam Armbruster. Thank you, Adam. Snails help for algae? Yeah, absolutely. The bad idea do a better with the dwarf crayfish. The dwarf crayfish is going to get the bennett. At some point, it's going to get it. I wouldn't take the risk. Didn't hatch yet. Oh, okay. Well, I'm excited to hear about this. I want to know what happens. Talking about the angels spawning on both sides of the tank. Do please, Jennifer, interested. Lisa, it's okay. VDA music. I have plants melting in my new tank, mainly anacris. So to leave it be or take it out. Also, my Cory sterbai are swimming around like crazy. Have you had experiences? Well, swimming around like crazy. The catfish swim around. Corys are like that. Usually in a new environment. They're explorers. They're just trying to get the lay of the land. They're kind of in shock, if you will, and trying to figure everything out. They should settle down. So long as they're swimming normally. If they're rolling and twisting and contorting, then that's another issue. The anacris melting probably is the whole plant melting, or is it just the leaves falling off? Who in the world is it? Somebody from Pennsylvania. Shall we take the call? Let's take the call. Father Fish.
Hi, Father Fish. This is Maria.
Hi, Maria. Guess what?
What's up?
You're talking with about 150 people right now on our live stream.
Oh, I was just trying to get into your stream on your Discord you told me about.
Oh, well, that's actually on YouTube.
Okay, I'm in the wrong place. But I'm so happy you are going to be getting a Harry Tetraedon Bailey
Oh, this could be amazing. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Very exciting. And I would like to, I was going into the Discord to send you the video so everybody can see what you're going to be getting.
All right. Well, do that and I'll see if I can get it up.
All right, I will do that.
Thank you, Maria.
No problem. Bye.
Love you, dear. Bye. Maria's in Pennsylvania. She found a shop that has some hairy puffers, which are not available commercially. These are wild caught in Thailand and were shipped over. The shop up in Pennsylvania has them. She got one. She's going to have them send me the other one. So I'm going to be talking to the packer on Thursday and we'll see if we can get it out. Meanwhile, she's going to post a picture of it on Discord. So I'm going to go look at that now. I don't know where she's going to put it. I guess we'll see. All right, where are we? Melting anacarids. Plants melt when you first put them in the tank. Rarely do plants melt after they've been in the tank and after they've been growing. Normally, it's at the beginning. It's because it's because those leaves have died. They're not really melting; they're just dead leaves. And if you look carefully at the nodes, you should see new leaves coming out. So if the stem is firm and they're little tiny buds, then that means the plant is healthy and it's doing fine. Just leave it alone. It'll be okay and it'll make it. If the stem is rotting, then you need to throw the whole mess out because it's not alive and it's not going to come back to life. So basically, with stem plants that have nodes on them, if the stem is firm, then the plant is alive. Even if all the leaves have fallen off of it, it'll grow new leaves back. In point of fact, leaves don't last long on plants. A season and they're gone. A few months typically. The leaves are dispensable. They're like the worker ant. They do all the work. They wear themselves out. They're disposed of, and new ones grow. It's the nature of the plant. That's how plants thrive. With the leaves, again, the leaves are disposable. Now, there's some plants that have leaves that last very, very long periods of time, but there will always be new leaves growing, and the new leaves are there to take the place of the old leaves. So it may take 5 to 10 years for that leaf to die on your house plant, but rest assured, those external leaves are going to die. And that says nothing about the health of the plant. So check it out, see what's happening. If the stem's gone, the plant's gone. If it's not, then you're going to be okay. Jennifer says lunch break is over. She's going back to work. God bless you, Jennifer. Let's see. Christian's tanks are indeed epic, says Adam. They absolutely are. Dooby doo. Buy a packet of living Daphnia and begin breeding with spirulina powder and natural baking bacteria. That's, you know what that is? Yeast. Yeast. Liver en franche is good for Daphnia. It's possible to make green water. Yeah, that's about right. A lot of sunlight. A lot of sunlight. Or put a light on it and leave it on. And no other plants. That way the single-celled algae won't be competing. All right. We're getting down to it here, I think. Yes, we are. It's going on 8 o'clock. I want to hear the president tonight see what he's got to say for himself. It's always fun watching him. He's such an amazing, amazing man. An amazing man. I think the one thing everybody can say about Trump is that he's amazing. You may not like him, but you got to admit he's amazing. Right. Now I need a dessert, says Christian. I'll get in touch with you, Christian. I need to try to work something out with you. You're doing so many things. I love it. I love it. And maybe I can get you some new stuff to do some new things with. All right, my friends. Love you all. We're gonna go bye-bye for now. I'll be back, but I don't know when. I don't know where. I'm trying to figure out how to do a morning stream. So I'm working on that. You may see me pop up here, there, or everywhere. By all means, expect me when you least expect me. Love you all. Let's put the tune back on. We gotta put something back on, shall we? What? I don't know. Yeah, we can. I think we can. We? I don't know if we can. We'll put the song back on. Well, that's what we'll do. We will leave with the song. I think it's still up. Maybe. Back. Let's see. Yep, here we go.
Father fish swims through the water with a wisdom deep and true, guiding us away from the mainstream to a natural point of view. His words like music to our ears, soothing every ache and pain. Bring nature back to your tank, let his message rain. Embrace the beauty of the wild, let your fish thrive. Father fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with the natural point of view. Through the rocks and plants, the fish find peace and play. Father Fish's teachings lighting up their day. No more crowded tanks or fake decor, just nature's tender touch. Embracing the balance, loving it so much. Father Fish's legacy, a vision we embrace. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view.
Love you all. Bye for now.